Welcome to this step-by-step video series about modeling a bond wire layout for a power module using MFis wire. I'm Samuel from MFis. The first video is about importing your geometry and organizing the objects in layers. What you see here is just when you start Rhino with a new file. And let's now import the file. The file you find also on the web page at the same place as where you find this video. So this is a step file. Let's open it. Use the default options typically. And then Rhino complains because it's a warning that tells you that some objects are imported as Rhino nested block instances. Okay, depending on where you have your file from, it might look like different now. So here we have just one block. When you click it, it's one block. And this is, for instance, when you import it from Inventor, where you have assembly that uses sub-assemblies, and these sub-assemblies have then finally parts. And these assembly structure, hierarchical structure, is organized within Rhino using blocks. And one block is just the whole assembly. We'll later see how to get rid of this block to access the individual objects. So let's now see what we have here. The views. This is the perspective view. It's called a viewport. This is another viewport, top view, front view, and the right view. What I typically do, I maximize, for instance, the perspective view by double clicking here, and I still can switch the views here using this tab. Then we have different display modes. We can switch to shaded viewport or go back to wireframe. More options you find here. Wireframe shaded, for instance, ghosted. You can look inside a bit. Let's go back to shaded viewport. Okay, now let's get rid of this block. So you find a command here under edit, then go to blocks. We can explode block and select here all blocks, and it says one block exploded, and now this block are individual parts. These commands you can also find somewhere within your toolbars. Sometimes it's difficult to find. This one, for instance, you find here. When you click here the triangle, it opens a submenu, and here is the explode block, and this is the block manager we will also use next. Block manager means we see that there are still the blocks within the document. It doesn't hurt if they're there, except they are using memory, and on your hard disk they use space, but they are not used anymore. So let's select these blocks and delete. Rhino complains because we want to delete blocks that are used in other blocks. Just click OK. Delete again. Delete again, and we're done. Okay, and this command you can also reach by typing. So for instance, block, you find all commands related to block edit, block manager, explode block. So typing what you want to do is a good method when you don't exactly know where you find a command. Just type something. Okay, now we can select the individual objects, and we must now organize these in layers. Depending on where you have your geometry from, these might not even be necessary. It might even be already organized within layers. You might have colors assigned to objects. Depends on where it is from. So we already have here some layers. Let's just give them names. Let's start with base plate. I always start with them from bottom to top. Next is the substrate solder, then the bottom metal, then there is the insulation, the top metal. So let's create other layers. Chip solder, chips, and termination and terminal. Okay, we can now with left click. Okay, I didn't tell you how to navigate the view, I just did it. So with right click you can rotate, with shift and right click you can move your part, with control and right click you can zoom. You can also zoom using the mouse wheel, and when rotating it always rotates about around the Z axis of your coordinate system. Maybe you're not used to that. You can change this behavior by going to Tools Options. Under Rhino Options here, rotate around world axis, this is the default, and rotate relative to you, this is, maybe you might use this because you're used to this from other CAD systems. I quite like this default mode of Rhino. Okay, and once you're lost, you don't find your part anymore, you can just click here and you're again at the start. Okay, so let's now select the base plate and assign it to the base plate layer. Just click change object layer. We see now the color is the color of the layer now. Sometimes the object itself have a color, and then they will not take the layer color. Then you can go to here, properties and color, display color here, change this from a color to by layer. Here we have by layer. Yeah, in this case they do not have colors assigned directly. Okay, then it's good to just hide this layer. Click the light bulb here to hide the layer. Then we see the bottom of the substrate. Here we have, this is the substrate solder. Again, right click here, change object layer, hide the layer. Next is bottom metal, insulation. I right clicked, and right clicking typically repeats a command. I think it was this command that was executed again. Okay, you can repeat commands by right clicking like this, or also here you find just a history of commands. Zoom extends was the last command. Okay, just I hit it accidentally. So now let's assign this to insulation, change object layer, hide this layer. Then we have the top metal. We can now select all of them by holding the shift key and clicking all the parts. There might be many parts, many more. Then you can do it in another way. You can change to the front view and use a box select method. So there are two modes of box selecting. From left to the right, you select everything what's inside the box, and from right to the left you select everything that crosses the box. In this case it's best to do from right to left and just cross the metal layer, and then all metal parts here are selected. Okay, then the chip solder we can do in the same way from front view, but here this is just a layer here below. It's better to go from left to right like this. Okay, change layer, change object layer. Okay, now you see there's a check mark. It means this is the current layer. In order to hide it, we have to select another layer as current layer. Current layer is where new objects are placed. Okay, I make the default layer as current layer, and Now I can hide the chip solder layer. Then there next is the chips. Okay, here again from right to left. Change object layer. And now what's remaining is the chips termination. I select all of them by holding the shift key. With the control key you can also deselect. With shift again you can select and change the layer. Okay, now there are these parts remaining. You can hit Ctrl A and it selects everything, all. This is the terminals. Change object layer here. Okay. Oh, there's something missing. Termination, where is it? I think I've put it to the chips. Okay. Easiest is go to front here, like this. Okay. Great. Now this is the correct layer. Okay. Yeah. Now that's correct. Okay, now let's assign reasonable colors. First, let's show all layers. With holding the shift key, I can select all the layers here, turn on the layer visibility, and now let's just select here for the base plate a gray color, for instance a nickel plated base plate, and the substrate solder and the chip solder also. Let's here select gray. Bottom metal, top metal, let's select an orange color, and the insulation just some kind of green, and chips maybe a light gray, and the termination is black, but what you see, it doesn't appear as black. This is because black is a special color in Rhino. You can, to have it really black, or you must put it to dark gray, so the brightness value can set, let's say, to 30. 0 to 255 is the coding. So okay, now it is kind of black. It's good to not have it completely black, then you see at least something. Okay, and the terminals, let's make them gold. Okay, we have now all colors assigned. Looks quite nice. Maybe when you import from your CAD system, it looks you already have colors. In that case, you can also select objects by color, and just to find this command, type color, and you see here cell color is select color. Click here, then let's select the chip solder here, for instance, this object. Okay, it shows you two variants. It's not unique what you want to select. Select this one. Okay, hit enter, and now all objects with the same color are selected. So the base plate, the substrate solder, and the chip solders. Like this, you can very quickly organize your objects in layers if your CAD system exports it with colors. Okay, I think this is already everything. The next video will be about sketching the area in which you like to place your bond wires. Have a great day.